Alright, the second book is Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. After leaving Pensy Prep, after an argument with Strandladder about a day with Holden's childhood friend, he travels to New York where he wanders and stays in the city. Holden doesn't want to return home yet because he has failed most of his classes and has been kicked out of school early. He has a conflict with his sexual desires as he calls a prostitute to his home, but only ends up talking to her. Holden then has a few encounters with his friends from long ago, but it only ends up tainting and hurting his relationship with them. Driven by these unfortunate events, Holden travels back to his family's house, in which he meets his sister, but runs away after hearing his parents coming. Staying at Mr. Antolini's house, Holden once again runs away, but this time because he interpreted Mr. Antolini's physical interactions with him very perverted. At last, Holden tells Phoebe he is going to run away, but then takes her to a carousel ride in which he realizes the gift of innocence and childhood that Phoebe has and his duty to protect it. One important topic to discuss throughout this book is character analysis. Holden is a character who is confused and uncomfortable in the stage of life he's stuck in, especially in his adolescence. Trapped between childhood and adulthood, Holden must navigate through his innocence, the cruelty of the world, his sexual desires, and through the relationships with the people in his life. He's a teenager who seems to hate the fakeness and phoniness of people around him, valuing being true to oneself as one of the greatest characteristics that one may possess. And another important character throughout the character analysis of this book is Mr. Antolini. Mr. Antolini is a representation of all the horror and the evil that's throughout the world, and the horror that Holden will encounter in his adulthood. Holden's experiences with weird encounter with Mr. Antolini serves as a realization in which Holden's eyes are truly open to what is to come, and as a result of growing up, which is realizing all the evil things that people can do, such as the act of perversion from Mr. Antolini that Holden believes that has happened to him. Another character important to discuss here is Phoebe Caulfield. Phoebe represents the side of Holden that he wants to keep and retain, which is his youth and innocence. Phoebe's innocence and childlikeness seem to be one of the only things that calm Holden down during the story, and it is through the character of Phoebe that Holden accepts his purpose as not being to hold on to his childhood, but to protect the childhood and innocence of others, such as Phoebe. Another topic that's important to discuss throughout this book is symbolism and author's choices. One of author's choices or symbolism is the red hat. The one symbolic feature of Holden is that it is used by Salinger to represent Holden's innocence. At the end of The Catcher in the Rye, Holden gives Phoebe his red hunting hat because it symbolizes his innocence and youth. His passing on the red hunting hat exemplifies the transition from childhood to adulthood, that he's leaving his innocence behind and he's leaving it to Phoebe. Another author's choice is the lake with the ducks. In the several parts of the novel, Holden ponders about the state of the lake in the cold winter as well as the ducks living inside of the lake. His worry about their state represents his own worry about the inevitability of growing up, because winter is something that will always come at the end of the seasons, and that Holden is worried about the ducks. It represents his fear of growing up and the change in his life that he will soon get into and is soon to experience. Another symbolism is the names. Both Holden and Phoebe have names that directly relate to the novel. Phoebe, which means pure and bright, is representative of her impact on Holden. He's often comforted by just the thought of her and seems to be one of the only things he has a positive attitude towards in the novel. Phoebe acts as the bright light and pureness that Holden is striving towards, solidifying their relationship. However, Holden also has a unique name because of the similar sound that Holden has with the word holding. Salinger could have purposely chosen this name to represent the fact of how Holden is holding onto his childhood and doesn't want to let it go or grow up, and doesn't want to hold on to doesn't want to face the harsh realities going on throughout his life. The theme of this book revolves around innocence. The theme of innocence is the entire promise of the novel, as the character Holden tries to combat his aging and maturity, as he doesn't want to face all of the terrible things and the responsibilities or the burdens that he will inevitably face as an adult. He tries to find ways to stay attached to his childhood, but ultimately realizes that it is better to just let him grow out on his own childhood and prepare others for the journey as well, such as Phoebe, and hence being the catcher of innocence in the Rye. Well, this has been the end of The Catcher in the Rye. Thank you for listening.